Picture two people who did everything right. They studied hard, they got the degrees, they landed solid careers. They got married, combined their incomes, bought a home in a good neighborhood. On paper, they're winning. Their combined household income? Over $130,000 a year. And yet they lie awake at night wondering why they feel so broke. Here's the terrifying part. This isn't their fault. They're caught in one of the most dangerous financial traps ever built, and almost nobody talks about it. And the trap doesn't just catch the poor. It specifically targets people who earn more. Two incomes. A provable curse? That sounds insane. Two paychecks is always better than one, right? That's just basic arithmetic. Except, it's not. There's a phenomenon called the two-income trap. It was identified not by some random blogger or podcast host, but by a Harvard bankruptcy law professor who spent years studying over 2,000 families who lost everything. What she found completely turned conventional wisdom upside down. Families with two working parents were actually more likely to file for bankruptcy than single-income families. Let that sentence land for a moment. Working harder, bringing home two paychecks, doing exactly what society told you to do, and somehow ending up more financially fragile than your grandparents who had one income. This isn't bad luck. It isn't poor discipline. It's a trap, and it was engineered by the way modern economic life is structured. Meet Zara and Kamran. Both in their early 30s, both college-educated. Zara is in digital marketing. Kamran works in software. Together, they clear about $125,000 a year. When they got married, they felt unstoppable. That combined number looked enormous to both of them, so they made the rational decisions. They bought a house in a neighborhood with a good school district because that's what you're supposed to do. They each kept their car because both of them work. They enrolled their daughter in daycare, obviously. They upgraded their lifestyle modestly because, frankly, they'd earned it. Fast forward 3 years. Zara gets diagnosed with a condition that requires surgery and 6 weeks of recovery. She can't work. And suddenly, a household earning $125,000 a year is in a financial emergency. How? Because every single dollar of that $125,000 was already committed. The mortgage, the cars, the daycare, the groceries, the insurance, the subscriptions, the school activities. Zara's income wasn't extra. It was structural. The entire financial life of their family had been built assuming both salaries would always be there. And when one disappeared, even temporarily, the whole thing started to crack. This is the trap. And Zara and Kamran are not unusual. They are the norm. Let's run the actual math, because this is where things get genuinely shocking. Say one partner earns $70,000 and the other earns $50,000. That's $120,000 combined. Now let's track what actually happens to that $50,000 second income. First, taxes. Because of how progressive tax brackets work, that second income gets stacked on top of the first. It doesn't get taxed from zero, it gets taxed starting from wherever the first income left off. Depending on your state, the effective rate on that additional $50,000 can hit 30 to 35% when you factor in federal, state, and payroll taxes. That $50,000 is now about $33,000 in actual take-home pay. Now add childcare. The national average for one child in daycare runs around $15,000 per year. 2 kids? You're looking at $28,000 to $30,000. Let's say one child $15,000. You're now at $18,000. Add the cost of having a second working adult. A second commute, fuel, maintenance, wear, runs roughly $5,000 a year. A second professional wardrobe, lunches out, work expenses another $2,000 to $3,000. You're at $10,000. Then add what researchers call exhaustion spending. 2 working parents are tired. When you're tired, you order delivery instead of cooking. You hire someone to clean. You buy convenience food. You skip the farmer's market and grab whatever's fast. Studies show dual-income households spend between $5,000 and $10,000 more per year on convenience services, compared to households where one person manages the home. Call it $7,000 conservatively. You're now at $3,000. That is the net financial contribution of a $50,000 second income after taxes, childcare, commuting, and exhaustion costs as little as $3,000 per year. That's $12 per workday. And here's the question that should keep you up at night. Is someone leaving their family every morning, fighting traffic for an hour each way, giving up their 30s for $12 a day? In many cases across America, the answer is yes. But this isn't just about one family's math. It's about a system-wide transformation that happened over 50 years. In 1970, about 43% of women participated in the workforce. The typical middle-class household ran on one income. And here's the crucial part. That one income was enough, not just barely. Actually, enough. A median income family in 1970 spent roughly 25% of their income on housing. They had margin. They had a backup plan. If the primary earner lost their job, the partner at home could enter the workforce. That backup plan was an insurance policy. Then, slowly, that insurance policy got cashed in not because of emergency, but because of pressure, social pressure, lifestyle pressure, the rising cost of housing in good school districts, the need for a second car, the logic that two incomes meant financial safety. By 2023, over 60% of married couples with children have both partners working full-time. America collectively activated its emergency reserve and called it progress. But here's what nobody noticed. The moment both incomes became standard, sellers adjusted. Home prices in good school districts doubled because now two incomes were bidding for them. Before, a $200,000 home was competitive. After, that same home became $400,000. Not because it got better, because buyers suddenly had more money. This is the arms race nobody wins. When everyone upgrades their buying power, the prices simply rise to absorb it. And now you need two incomes to afford what one income used to buy. So why don't people see this trap before they're inside it? Because the gross number looks so good. When you see $120,000 on your tax return, your brain registers wealth. You think, we earn $120,000. The bank thinks, you earn $120,000. The mortgage officer thinks, you can afford $420,000. And technically, you can, as long as nothing ever goes wrong, as long as both jobs stay stable, as long as nobody gets sick, burned out, laid off, or needs to care for an aging parent. The trap is that we make our most important financial decisions, what house to buy, what car to lease, what school to enroll in, based on the combined gross income, not on the net real income that actually hits the account. We live at the $120,000 level but only have the resilience of someone earning $30,000. There's also a psychological phenomenon at play called lifestyle lock-in. Once your fixed costs, mortgage, car payments, insurance, daycare, consume both incomes, you lose the psychological ability to downsize. Even though you're technically living beyond your resilience level, you feel like you'd be losing something if you cut back. You're not building wealth. You're maintaining the appearance of it. Here's the number that nobody puts in a mortgage presentation. The cost of having no backup plan. In 2019, the Federal Reserve found that nearly 40% of American adults couldn't handle a $400 unexpected expense without going into debt. 40%. And many of those people earn solid incomes. They're not poor on paper. They're poor in resilience. Because every dollar of their combined income was already allocated before it arrived. And when something breaks a car, a health event, a job loss, there's no reserve. There's no insurance policy. The second income was already spent before it ever existed. Think about what that means over a lifetime. If a family spends their entire earning years consuming both incomes, instead of investing one, they lose the $400,000 to $800. 000 that a fully invested second income could have generated over 25 years through compound growth. They traded future financial independence for the feeling of prosperity today. And here's how it actually shows up in real life. Couples who feel like they're drowning despite making six figures. Professionals delaying retirement by 10 years because their investments never grew. Parents who secretly panic when the car makes a strange noise not because they can't fix it, but because they know a $1,500 repair would blow the month's budget. Two exhausted people, working full-time, barely seeing each other and feeling like they have nothing to show for it. This is not a failure of character. This is a predictable outcome of a system that told people 2 incomes equals double security, without explaining the math that makes that promise almost impossible to keep. Here's the shift that changes everything. Stop thinking about your combined income as your income. Start structuring your fixed costs, your mortgage, your car, your non-negotiables around one income. Then treat the second income as what it actually is: a bonus, a wealth-building engine, a tool, not a lifeline. If your monthly obligations can be sustained by one salary, you've done something almost nobody does. You've preserved your margin. That means if one partner steps back by choice or by necessity, the family doesn't collapse. It adjusts. There's a difference between discomfort and disaster. The families who build real wealth in this economy aren't the ones with the highest incomes. They're the ones who refuse to let their lifestyle expand to consume every dollar they earn. They buy the house one income can afford. They build savings before they buy the car. They treat wealth as the goal, not the appearance of it. Every dollar you invest rather than spend is buying back something priceless: the ability to choose. Our grandparents had something we gave away without realizing it. They had a backup, a reserve, a safety net built into the structure of their lives. We traded that for bigger mortgages, fancier cars, and the illusion that busyness equals progress. But here's the truth no bank will ever tell you. It doesn't matter how much you earn if you've already spent it all before it arrives. 2 incomes are not better than one unless the second one is actually building something. The question isn't how much you make. The question is, what would happen to your life if one income disappeared tomorrow? That answer tells you everything.